Tim Faust, Adam Chance, Adam Rupp, Rob Lundquist, and Austin Brown. Home free. Hey, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't even know where to begin. I'm going to scoot this up so I can see y'all all. This is like, I told the audience this is my first time that I get to visit with y'all. And honestly, other than the Oak Ridge Boys and Diamond Rio, this is my first group attempt to try to visit with everybody. And I don't want to block you from here.
Well,
all
we'll
right.
try and live up to that.
I think you should raise your hand again if you went to their show last night. See, look at this. Everybody loved it.
They came back.
Is this your first time on the Country Music Cruise?
It is.
It is?
Yes. That was an easy question. Keep them going.
I will. Well, what made you all say, yes, let's do it? What made you want to come?
Did
here?
you see the other names on the lineup?
Well, that was a dumb question, wasn't it?
Right? We get to go where they are? Yeah.
I was just blown away by your musicianship, the creativity, you know, taking these classic country songs that we love and some new ones written by this man down here on the end. I was watching last night. So Tom and Adam, or whoever wants to say this, how did the band get started? Are you the only original?
Yeah.
Okay, Adam, take it
Yeah.
away. We have a lot of questions for you tonight.
Okay, I'll try to do this as concise as I possibly can. But we get asked this a lot, so let's see how we do. Started the group in the year 2000 with my brother and best friend in Mankato, Minnesota. All right.
Don't
Yeah.
cheer for that. You know what it's like there right now?
Yeah.
It's worse in Nashville.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. And for the longest time, it was just a hobby where we were, you know, trying to figure out how to do what we're doing. And, you know, we were kind of running around like chickens with their head cut off. Like, just like, what are we doing? I don't know. And slowly but surely, we figured out, oh, we have to do this, we have to do that, and to make a good show and make a good product and how to do the music business. But we started to pick up people who were more serious about this as a career, and that's when we met Rob in 2008. And
Do it, Austin.
he was actually singing with another group at the time that was on their farewell tour and about to break up. But it's a good thing because we saw the show and we said, wow, we got to get that guy to sing with us. And funny enough, we had a cruise gig coming up shortly, and we asked him if he wanted to come on the cruise and sing. And that was on Norwegian Cruise Lines, but different story.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Hey, beggars can't be choosers at this point in time.
That sounded like the ship horn, didn't it? Didn't it? Didn't it?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
No,
keep going.
that's good. I like this. So that happened, and then he joined us, and then we knew of Tim through just networking in the world of a cappella. It's kind of a small community, so you kind of know who are the basses out there because everyone's always looking for a bass singer. And we asked him if he would come up to Minnesota to do a tour in winter.
He's from Texas, so.
He was living in Orange County, California at the time too. So I don't know why he said yes, but he said yes. And the tour was great, and then he did another tour after that in the spring, and then like 2 years, I think, after that, he decided to join us full time, but he wouldn't move to Minnesota. He wanted to stay living in Dallas, Texas at the time. So we had to fly him up every time that we were going to do a tour or something, and it actually was
Dallas
working
is
out.
as far north as I'm willing to live.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So we did that, and then we were doing a lot of cruises at the time. We were guest entertainers, and we were doing a lot of cruises, and that's where we met Austin, who was on a ship, and we had a mutual friend, and Austin was singing in the production cast on a cruise ship. Okay. And we came on as guest entertainers. We had a mutual friend. We got connected, found out that he was really into a cappella music as well, and you know, that's how it all started. And then I think, I don't know what year it was. What year was it? 2012, 13, or something
12,
like that?
yeah.
12, okay.
We met at the beginning of 2012.
Yeah. our lead tenor was retiring from the group, and so we asked him to step in and if he wanted to sing with us, and he did. And then that led us into the sing-off. It was only a few months, like what, 6 months that you were with us?
5 months later, we auditioned
So,
for Sing-Off.
Yeah. We auditioned for the show. This is actually the 4th time that we auditioned for the show. And the third, the one big change was that we had more country guys in the group than we had us Minnesotans. And yeah, that did it. So we went on, and then they were like, "Wow, you guys like your country thing is like the way to go," and we won the show. Yeah. Then we did a tour from the show because they have you do a tour after these shows, and that's where we met Adam Chance, who was actually on a previous season of that show with a different group. And just like Rob, we pilfered Chance because my brother was retiring from the group, and then in 2016, we immediately, it was like, Chance, well, do you want to sing In Home Free? And we didn't have any other options, but we didn't.
No, he didn't mean it like that.
That was the wrong way to say that.
I meant that. I meant like.
That was the moment.
Think about that. Think reverse of that.
He was our only choice.
He was our only
like,
choice.
We were like, that's the guy we
didn't have
want.
any other options.
If I'd known any of this, I would have asked for a lot more pay right up front.
So yeah, and then that's been the group now since 2016, and here we are.
That was the concise one, huh?
I had a coffee beforehand.
Couldn't tell, yeah.
And a
Yeah.
nap. He also had a nap.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have time for. Thank y'all for coming out.
Hold on just a minute. Well, I'd love to chat with you guys individually. And Chance, would you like to, go against anything that he said in that?
A lot of it now, yeah, for sure.
What made you want to say yes to this group?
Well, it's funny because a cappella was kind of new to me at the time. Because I mean, I had no background in a cappella, and
You can tell just by looking at it.
maybe so. And I got asked to do the show with my other group, and at that point, we'd been touring. Street Corner Symphony was the name of that band. We'd been touring for about 6 years, but we were kind of at a point where it wasn't everyone's first priority anymore, and that's when Tim had messaged me, and we had all become really good friends at that point. So
Because of the show.
because of the show and just going on tour together. So I grew up on country music, so it just felt right.
Where are you from?
Lower Alabama,
You are?
yeah.
What city?
Bay Minette,
No kidding.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm from down that way too. We're on
Really?
I'm Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Oh,
So
sure,
it's
yeah.
it's that is it latitude that goes east to west?
Okay.
Longitude.
Yeah,
Not that-
longitude.
Okay,
latitude.
so we're in the same latitude.
Longitude, latitude.
And no, that's the easy way. That's the truth. So
That's exactly right. So Tom, your sweet daddy is here with us too.
He is. I mean,
Family?
he's not like currently with us. He's in bed.
Is he?
But
He's tired.
he is on the ship, yes.
What did your family think about when you started? Well, how long have you been in music, like singing?
I mean, my whole life, but 23 years professionally.
And were they cool with you making this your living?
Here's the thing. It scared the crap out of me to tell him that I was going to run off and join a band because I was a pre-dental major at the time.
Really?
And so I was all nervous about it, which is really weird looking back. And I worked up the nerve, and I was like, Mom and Dad, so I'm going to drop out of college and join a startup band. And they surprised the hell out of me by saying, go for it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good parenting right there.
Yeah.
You got some good mamas and daddies. What about you, Rob? How long you been singing?
Mine's kind of the opposite of him.
Yeah?
My folks knew that I was not good at anything else, and so they really pushed me. They're like, "You're pretty good at singing. Maybe go to school for that." And it worked out. So yeah, I went to school for vocal performance and got a degree. And first thing I did was get into an a cappella group, the one that that he saw me perform in, and then they saw me, and I've been doing that ever since.
Where are you from?
From Minneapolis.
Okay, so we still
Yeah. Hey, hey.
we got all
Right on.
kinds of
It's cool.
Austin.
Yeah, I grew up in music. My first memories are very literally maybe in 3-4 years on stage singing with my daddy. He had a Southern gospel group, toured all over the Southeast. He was kind of a promoter in the Southeast as well. So I grew up in that world. I grew up around quartet harmony. I love it. Harmonizing was like a hobby of mine all through middle school and high school. I started a bunch of groups in high school and in college. And then I started working professionally after college. And my first professional gig after college that wasn't just like, getting paid, a little bit with a band to sing at a bar or something, was on a cruise ship. And, eventually, after doing that and some other things in between, I went and did another ship. And then that's how I met these guys. And, yeah, I've been singing my whole life. I remember riding, down the road with my dad and near my grandparents' house whenever I was very young and hearing some Southern gospel song playing on the radio and turning to my dad and going, I want to do this when I grow up. And he said, okay. And here we are.
That's a good dad, too. Where are you from?
Tifton, Georgia, South Georgia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, GA.
I saw somebody with a Tifton sign in the show. Is
Man,
that
this
y'all?
man over here.
Nice.
There's a guy
Several
over
whole
here.
little sign said Tifton.
Well,
All right. There's a lot of
the hotels in Tipton. Where is Tipton at?
Tifton.
Tifton.
South
Where-
Georgia.
South
The
Georgia.
Valdosta area north of
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's right
okay.
on I-70. If you're driving
Okay.
from the north to the south to get to Disney World, you're going through Tifton.
I gotcha. Well, y'all be thinking what you may want to ask these fellas, but I have a burning question for you, Adam.
Oh boy.
With your gifts, growing up, with your gifts, did you just drive your poor mama and daddy crazy?
I've
it's
never
like,
been asked that question
no?
before. Yeah.
Well, I was just, you give a young man a set of drums. He didn't have the drums, but you have your own instrument. Did you walk around your house doing this? And I'm being facetious, I don't mean it literally.
He drives us crazy to this day doing it all the time.
It's kind of true. I didn't start until I got to college.
Really?
That was making noises before, like my earliest memory was 5th grade, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't think it was anything. It was just being a kid. And then nothing happened between 5th grade until college. And then I got to college, and that's when my brother introduced me to rockapella, actually. And I saw my first vocal percussionist doing stuff, and I was like, man, that's crazy. How does he make that sound? So I started to practice, and I was wanting to learn it because he wanted to start the group and start doing things like that. And I had a roommate my first year in college for about a month, and then he left.
But it should be noted that he was a trumpet performance major.
Yeah.
So he had a fine-tuned
he had it.
embouchure,
Yeah, you had that
Yeah.
presence right here.
Yeah, I did. That's what I went. I was in college. I went to school for music, and I was a trumpet player, and I did everything you could do as a trumpet player in college. And I learned all about embouchure and breath control and pressure.
Embouchure.
What's your embouchure, Adam?
What
That's
is that?
very personal question.
Yeah. The muscles here, the face
Oh.
muscles and all that, and how you get the right pressure and then how you have the right, all the technique that you need to know.
Okay.
With tonguing and all that kind of stuff. And so.
Hello.
Yeah.
Save it for the late night show, bud.
It's a very important part of the. Yeah, and so I just, slowly but surely started to learn one thing at a time. And when I started, I was bad. It was really bad, Because, I compare it to learning a language. If you're going to learn a different language, you don't pick it up right away, right? It takes a lot of repetition, a lot of trial and error. And yeah, it's just over time, you figure things out, you get better at it, and you listen to yourself and how you're sounding, and you just
And he
rinse and
got
repeat.
most improved tonguer.
Yeah.
Oh, that fella in his embouchure.
Yeah. It was tongue man. Tongue man.
How about Mr. Tom? What?
Tim.
Tim.
No,
Shoot.
no,
Oh,
no,
shoot.
No, I love it.
Tim.
Don't correct her.
No,
Let
Tom.
it keep it going.
That's okay. I'm sorry. Tim.
Yes, Nin?
Yep, that's fine. You can. somebody earlier called me man, so you can call me that. What is the hardest part about being in a band? I mean, it's got to be difficult being on the road together. What keeps you all going and going so well together? What's a trick, a secret to that?
I mean, just honestly, respecting one another, and we're a family, and just like your family's at home, sometimes you can't stand them, but you always love them, and we've learned how to communicate throughout the years, and that's the main thing is just communication, and I'm not joking when I say we've had 2 rounds of band therapy. I'm serious. We've sat
Really?
down with a therapist and done a whole weekend intensive, just not just us, but with our management as well, just trying to figure out how we can operate better as business owners and an operation. And yeah.
What was the key takeaway from those sessions? Was it just respect, or
Yeah.
what was the key?
Communication.
Just communication.
Communication. Got it.
Yeah. Because it's so tempting, especially when you're on the road all the time and you're living on a bus. It's a very finite space shared with not only us, but our crew as well. And, if there is a little friction, it's tempting to just ignore it,
Oh,
or try to
away.
sweep it under the rug, but that's just a plugged water hose,
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to learn to override that instinct and actually just kind of face things head on. Yeah.
I need to that's good advice for all of us, right? In any way. What about, go ahead. Yeah. Austin, okay, so I was watching last night, and y'all have some good choreography. I mean, I'm serious.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you for
Good for
calling
us,
what we
yeah.
do that.
Choreography.
You have a great show. I mean, I mean this as a compliment.
Thank you. No,
You're not
pre-
just
pre-
standing there. How is the rehearsal process for Home Free?
Most of the songs that we've done, we don't change a show completely, right? So we always come back knowing a lot of the show, depending on, do we take out 2 songs and switch them in? Do we change out 4 or 5 songs? Christmas shows maybe half and half of new stuff every year, from what we've been doing, right? But we have a choreographer who is like a top-notch, well-known name in the industry that we met when we were on the Sing-Off. She did all the shows, all the choreography we did on that show. She taught it to us, and we had such a good relationship with her. She's become a really good friend of ours over the years, and so she's the only person we've ever worked with. Every time we have new music, she comes in and stages it. I don't know if I guess you were all there last night. Like when we did Hers Ain't Mine, we just stood there because we haven't done that with her yet. So. But yeah, we work with her. She gives us our movement cues, and it's more about moving when, where,
But I mean, I paid attention to that because it's not just soothing to the ears, but you can't just stand on the stage and not move. And
Totally.
I really enjoyed your show, and I made a note of it because you don't often see that, in our genre.
Well, that's because in our genre, there's talented instrumentalists that aren't expected to run around the stage. They can just stand there and shred their instrument.
Their fingers
This is
are running
true.
around the bridge.
We can't do that, so we got to be interesting in other ways.
And I think you are so interesting, really, really interesting. I want to open up and see if anybody else wants to chat for a few minutes because we have a little bit of time. Be thinking. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
She's asking about one of our music videos. I wrote a song called Good Old Country Harmony, and in the music video, it's kind of a unofficial, somewhat fictional story of how Home Free got together. Very fictional. And we're basically portrayed by children in the video, and it shows the kids meeting in school and starting a band and all that. And we can take 0 credit for that. Our videographers casted that video. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Right here. Right here.
I did not grow up with this voice, no. That would have been pretty concerning. Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
I was a late bloomer, to be honest with you. I almost feel like I willed myself to be a bass. my mom like raised me on a lot of like oldies and a lot of the doo-wop groups and stuff, and then my grandma played a lot of Southern gospel music for me, and I was always fascinated by the bass singer, and I wanted to be able to do that, but I had a squeaky high voice. I was short, and I had a really high voice well into high school. I mean,
Same.
Well, you got over one of those things. Anyway, it was all my peers' voices had changed, and it was one of those things, like, you know, out of a movie or something, where one year, it was between my sophomore and junior year. I ended my sophomore year as a short tenor, and I came back my junior year as a tall bass singer. True story. Yeah. No offense, fellas.
Adam, what is your process to come up with that solo?
Trial and error, rinse and repeat. I keep saying error. I don't know why I keep saying that.
2 in a row. with
Two
the
in a
same
row, I
one,
know.
yeah.
Error. I don't know. It's just, you know, I've been doing it for like 22 years, and it's just been a lot of taking in ideas from other things that I see, musical acts or performances, and just in imagining what I could do, and, you know, translate that to what I do, and, you know, figure out little bits and like little, oh, this is cool if I do something like that, and like this was engaging with the crowd, or it's just a lot of like different things over the years that
It's
have
constantly evolving.
yeah, and it's never the same. I'm always like, I mean, I have my certain bits or like certain things that I can do during a solo, but I'm always coming at it fresh every night and be like, well, I'm gonna start with this, and I'm start doing this thing, and then I just kind of go from there. It's just, and well, not to make a long answer to a simple question.
Too late.
But yeah, we'll go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to, because I'm sitting here right by you. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
I know you got tons of videos. What was your reaction, or do you have any part of becoming big time viral?
For those of y'all that don't know, I mean, we mentioned it in the show last night. We did it in both the shows. We, you know, released a video of a medley of sea shanties, and you know, there was already this kind of viral craze happening. People doing their own version of that song, "The Wellerman," which is what we started out with, and you know, people were asking us like, "Well, you guys should do your version," and we were a little hesitant because we almost felt like we missed the wave a little bit, you know. And it's like, well, why do we just do this same thing that everyone else is doing? So we decided, well, if we're gonna do it, let's do some of the other most popular sea shanties as well. And Chance is actually a sea shanty enthusiast, no joke. And Rob used to make fun of him for it.
Yep, he did.
And so we basically just said, Chance, why don't you just pick like 4 of your other favorite sea shanties, and we'll make a medley out of them.
I picked about 12.
Yeah, he did. So maybe we'll do 2 more medleys. We'll see. And so we released that. Again, the production quality of the video was none, because it was during COVID. We literally filmed on our phones in our backyards, and then a videographer put it all together. We never expected it to do very well, but we put it out there anyway. And not only did it do well right away, but it became a viral dance challenge in Asia. No joke. And that then took it to a whole other level, because then people all over the world were trying to do their version of that dance and use our audio. And then on top of that, for whatever reason, it just caught on in some of these apps, you know, where people are posting videos and they want to add unrelated music to their video, but just something. They want
It's like a
some
workout
sound.
video,
Yeah.
and they just put sound to
So
it.
that was a big one. A lot of the workout videos all of a sudden started having our sea shanty medley in the background. And, you know, it's just the way the algorithm works. You know, once they realize it's popular, well, then it becomes one of the top suggested songs. So the people that went on there and wanted to use music but didn't know what they wanted to use just went to look at the list, and that was at the top of the list. And so it just really caught fire. And here we are. Next thing you know, we've got a major video company asking us to write a sea shanty for their game, which comes out next month, by the way.
Wow!
everybody. So-
Congratulations!
And it's our It's our highest budget and most extensive music video to date.
And next
It'll
month?
come
Next
out
month.
when the game does, pretty much. So
Very soon.
Stay
Very
tuned.
soon.
Can
Yeah.
you tell us what the game is?
It's called Skull and Bones. And
Skull and
yeah,
Bones.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's going to be y'all's song that's playing to this video.
Yeah. And in the game, which
And
is
in the
wild.
game.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Wow. What other questions do you have for the fellas? Anybody? Right here, ma'am.
I do, yes, Em. Hi. These guys are talking so much, I can't get a word in.
He's too polite. He's from Minnesota.
To describe them?
Watch your
Yeah.
words, buddy.
Let's have it, Rob.
Well,
Let's
that
have it.
really puts me on the spot.
You've had a lot of time to think about it.
He's making me nervous. He's the dreamer. That's pretty easy. He's kind of always pushing us forward because the rest of us are pretty excited about where we're at. But he's like, we got to keep going, and we're like, okay. Let's see. This is tougher. This is way tougher.
Do you need to have a lifeline? You need to call
Sure.
somebody?
Yeah. Do you guys have any ideas?
Come on,
I'll
Rob.
make him do it.
You can do it.
Yeah, I don't know. What's not going to get me in trouble? He's the showman for sure. He's up there. He's doing all the chatting. He's one of the quickest guys I've ever met, and he can just chat with the audience. If something happens, he's just right there. He's probably going to make fun of him, which is usually pretty good.
And they'll
Chance-
like it.
Yeah, they'll like it. See, if I went and was like super sarcastic, they'd just think I was
We
mean.
joke about that all the time. That if
Yeah.
Rob ever tried to do what Rob did, the whole audience would be like, "This jerk! What an asshole!
Get this guy off the stage.
What's wrong with this guy?"
Yeah. Chance is very chill. He's like the chill guy. He's pretty go with the flow for the most part. And Adam, get him some coffee and he'll just keep chatting. He's a chatterbox.
Well done.
Yeah, what about
Me?
you?
All right, we'll take over now.
Okay, cool.
He's our secret weapon as far as I'm concerned. He is, because the rest of us, take up a lot of the spotlight. But I'm not kidding when I say he's the most talented vocalist in Home Free.
100%.
Absolutely. And he's also a model human being. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
father. I want to be
He's-
just like Rob when I grow up.
He's lovely. He's lovely. There's I don't think there's ever been friction within Home Free because of Rob. It's always between the rest of us. Everyone just he's a joy to be around, on and off stage. And
If there is tension, he's the first one to break it too with a joke that makes everybody laugh. So
yeah, but anyway, if you haven't yet, go check out our version of Boys to Men's "End of the Road," and we really turn this guy loose. It'll blow your mind.
there's a
It's
lot of good
funny-
reactions to that one too.
It's
So-
funny because I disagree with everything they just said.
Thank you.
Well, I know we have probably some other questions, but I'm sitting here and I said this last night when I was proud to introduce you guys. You blew me away. I fell in love with your gifts. Honestly, when I saw and heard you all collaborate with Lee on God Bless the USA, how do you take a song that has turned this nation on its head with pride and is such a number one for decades and decades and decades? How do you do that and make it even better? I mean, it's
Give
fantastic.
Lee a chance to be Lee.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a little bit of a long story. That was actually the very first song that we arranged for Home Free. Now this is 20 years
20 years ago. Yeah.
So the very first song Home Free ever performed was Pretty Woman, but we stole someone else's arrangement. And so once it was like, okay, we got to figure out how to do this ourselves. That was the first song that we arranged, and so that's the song we've been singing the longest. And we had put out a version years ago by ourselves that also went very viral. We filmed it in front of Mount Rushmore. But then during the pandemic, a friend of mine who was in the Singing Sergeants, the U.S. Air Force Singing Sergeants, reached out and said, would you guys ever want to do something with us? And we said, absolutely. We started brainstorming, and we have a supplemental arrangement that we've used before to do with some school choirs and stuff. And we thought, well, that'd be really rad if we had the singing sergeants learn that arrangement and do our version. And then while we're at it, we thought, well, why don't we just reach out to Lee and see if he'd be interested in doing that with us. And like Austin mentioned, once we got into the studio with Lee, we told him, we said, well, here's the thing. If you're interested, we kind of have the melody covered. Why don't you try some ad-libs? And he sang his butt off. First of all, I mean, one of the best vocalists I've ever heard.
1,000%.
He's 78 years old and can still do it. I mean, one of the, a lot of tenors tend to lose it. He's never lost it. And after that, he had such a blast, and he told us, I've been singing that song for 40 years. I've never experienced such freedom within my own song before, and it really showed. I mean, he really let loose, and it was fun.
Well, hats off to y'all for him saying that, for you guys doing it. If you have not seen that one, go watch it. I literally cried, and I just had to know more about you all because, like I said, I haven't had the pleasure of talking with you all except for today, and on this cruise.
Well, thank you
Yes.
so much. And I'm just curious, how many of y'all, this was your first time to see Home Free live? Wow. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Cool.
Oh boy.
How many of you this won't be your last? Yep.
I saw some of y'all not raise your hands a second
I
time.
did too. I noticed that as well.
Could I ask you something, Adam?
Sure.
Would you show us just one or two little tricks? Because now we can see your mouth, and we can see, we're right here. And I would just,
Some
will
of
you
y'all should
indulge me?
really come in close. You
I
gotta.
know.
Well,
I was
get
going
in
to say,
there.
the front row, this is going to be like a Gallagher show.
Just something simple that we might be able to take home with us and go, look, I can do this. I don't know.
Oh, you want me to teach you?
Yeah, do a little something. Would you show a trick?
Might want to ride that fader, Mr. Soundman.
Sure. Well, I don't know. What do you want to know? Like
I can't. I can go like this.
harmonica? No harmonica. Okay, so the harmonica sound. Has anyone ever tried to talk like Eric Cartman from South Park?
First of all, does anyone know who that is? What
Yes,
he's talking
yes,
about?
yes.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to use that reference.
Butter,
Well, it's kind of like it's just a matter of getting it. Okay. Does anyone know what the soft palate is?
soft palate. Yes, yes.
All right. It's like the back of your tongue. If you raise it up, you can really thin out the space in there, and you can try to also aim the voice to ping in the nose. And if you do it right, it takes a lot of experimentation. You can get it to sound zingy like a harmonica would sound, and then it's a matter of just manipulating, the shape to get it to sound, phrase it.
Or like the sound a cat makes when they're really wailing.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I
it.
mean? Yeah, that.
So, for example, and it's hard to do with just one hand, but I'll try here. And then it just goes on from there. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I won't be able to do that at all, but I just would.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
I was hoping you were going to try.
Oh, Lord, no. That's
Hey, that's close.
That's pretty much it.
Hey,
You're
no,
getting there.
that was just no. It was not.
You want a job?
I just respect. I respect your gifts so much, and I think all of us here, you all blew us away, and I'm collectively speaking for y'all. Look at the head shaking. The first time that we've heard you live, and I just think you guys are so magically talented, and literally when you stepped up and did that long solo, we were just passing out. We were just like, oh my gosh, how do y'all do that?
You were passing out?
Literally. Because I felt like I was going to hyperventilate. I was kind of trying to go with it, and I couldn't do it.
Well, I'm glad you felt that for me. That's good.
Hey, and I want to say thank you to you, but also all of y'all for embracing us, because we realize that what we do is certainly non-traditional country music, and it's kind of on the fringes. So thanks for welcoming us anyway.
Last question. Maybe a couple more questions, and then we'll let the fellas go. Oh, yes, I saw your hand first. Sorry.
I kind of take every collaboration we've had back to the Oak Ridge Boys, honestly, because well, yeah. So we had done a national press appearance, and Dwayne Allen from the Oak saw us and reached out and paid us a compliment. And he and I ended up getting together and having lunch in Nashville, which was already like mind blowing. Just that he's a hero of mine, of course. And we were just chatting about what we had coming up, and we had already planned to do a version of Elvira. I mean, it's kind of an obvious choice for a group like us, And so we told him, said, well, we're going to be doing Elvira. We're going to be taking it pretty far outside the box. Is there any way y'all would ever want to do that with us? And he didn't hesitate. He said, absolutely. What do you need from us? And they were so generous with their time and energy. They not only recorded that really weird version with us, but then they filmed a music video with us. If you haven't seen that, please go check it out, because we literally just take turns in the studio just trading off with the Oak Ridge Boys. I mean, I get to trade off on Papa Mau Mau's with Richard Sturban. It doesn't get any better than that. But anyway, of course, that went mega viral. And then after that, folks kind of started lining up to collaborate with us, So the Oaks gave us a lot of credibility. And then after that, we ended up collaborating with Lee Greenwood, and Lee shares an agent with Don McLean.
Manager.
What?
Manager.
No, manager. Sorry, manager. And so when Don was getting ready to, revisit the 50-year anniversary of American Pie, which is hard to believe, they wanted to do something special. And so it was actually Don's manager that said, well, based on what Home Free's got going on with some of these other artists, that would be a very special version of American Pie, which is a crazy thing for someone like that, like an icon with an iconic song like that, to even let someone else touch, And I don't think he was real sure about it. When we went in the studio...
No, once it was done, he was all about it.
But when we first got in the studio with him, he seemed a little skeptical, and I don't blame him. But then when he heard the arrangement we put together, it was kind of a similar situation, like when we were working with Lee. Like, he got really excited about it. And so we released the version of that song. It went really well, and he ended up inviting us out to perform it at the ceremony when he got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And the coolest thing about that moment was
that Weird Al
Yankovic was
just
there.
in the audience.
And he was bopping, and he was into it. Oh, it was so fun.
And he was the 2700th star on the Walk of Fame. And of all those stars, the only people who have ever sung at a star ceremony are us.
Wow. Wow. Yes, ma'am. Last question right here.
I'll be honest with you, we just learned that we're performing in Anderson, Indiana from you. But we just announced all of our spring tour dates. I know we start down in Texas. That's as much as I know. And I only know that because my family told me we were. But all of those dates can be found at homefreemusic.com.
And before we let these fellas go, new music, new collaborations in the hopper, some things that you guys want to tell us all about?
Absolutely. We have a new album coming out pretty soon, and we're going to be announcing all of that very soon. The new album coincides with the spring tour, and so stay tuned for all of that. But yes, always new music coming. Those of y'all that do follow us closely know that we release at least one, if not two, new singles and music videos every single month. So a lot of music coming from Home Free.
Great. Any collaborations that you would like to? I mean, you pretty hit the high pinnacle.
Well, I can say that we've been asked by Don to do something else with him.
Good.
So that's pretty fun.
Do you have somebody in your thoughts that you would like to collaborate with?
All of them.
So many.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Dolly
Dolly's
Parton.
number one.
Somebody tell her. Y'all tell her, okay?
Yeah.
Dolly
Y'all
Parton.
tell her, but just y'all bother every single artist on this cruise and tell them you should really do something with Home Free.
Do that.
Okay?
We can do that.
Thank y'all.
I have enjoyed this thoroughly. Thank you for indulging me with beatbox. Thank you all for answering my questions as well as your new fans, because I think we're all new fans of yours because we've gotten to hear you perform live. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Home Free!
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about Nan Kelly over there?
Yeah.